Hey guys, what's happening? I've just finished watching the Nintendo Switch presentation and I got mixed feelings. When I first heard about the Switch, I wasn't impressed with what they're going with. I, like everyone else out there, I want a beefy Nintendo machine. One of those. Something which is ahead of its time technologically, can play every third-party game because it has the power, but also has the Nintendo IPs behind it. When I watched this presentation, I was bored from most of the games. The presentation itself, I couldn't stand it. I hated the way they did it. But when I got to the actual games, I was bored. Until I saw Mario, and my face lit up. I loved the look of it. The Mario game, that got me super excited. That got me super stoked for it. But that's not how it should be. I should be watching a presentation for a machine and seeing the likes of, I know I won't because it's a PlayStation exclusive, but something like a Naughty Dog game and going, oh my god, that's amazing. There was nothing which grabbed me graphically. Now Nintendo always say, we're not trying to be the best, the most powerful graphically, but that's what we, the consumer, want these days. The consumer demands it. I don't mind sometimes if a game isn't graphics, as long as the gameplay's there, because graphics doesn't make everything. But that's what your consumer wants, Nintendo. And you're not listening. When I got to the end of the presentation and I saw Zelda Breath of the Wild, I had goosebumps. That was amazing. But apart from that, Mario, and the fact that a few things that I'm interested in, like there was a Street Fighter 2 in there, which I'm very interested in, even though it's Street Fighter 2 and everyone else got, well, PlayStation and PC have got Street Fighter 5, whatever, that got me very interested. Things like Xenoblade 2, Fire Emblems, these sort of games, obviously sort of people, I don't play them myself, many people will, that get them interested. But I still got left with the same feeling of Nintendo, you're going to have amazing Nintendo games in this machine and nothing else. I think the machine is going to sell very well, but it's going to be another Wii, and that's not a good thing. The Wii came out, everybody went insane. People paid £1,000 for the Wii, and then no one played it. You can now pick up the Wii for 20 quid. That's £20 in the UK for the Americans who are watching this. You pick up a Wii for second hand £20. You can't get an N64 for that money. You're lucky if you find a Super Nintendo for that money. Everyone bought it and then realised there was nothing on it. And no one used it. My Wii is sitting up there on top of a cupboard. I can see it now in this case. 2 Wiimotes, nunchucks. It's just sitting there. Doesn't get used. My Wii U, however, fantastic machine with some amazing games. Let down by terrible marketing by Nintendo and by the fact that it wasn't powerful enough to bring in consumers with the big third-party names. Those big third-party names is what you need to bring in the consumer. So when they have your, which I think is terrible, your Infinite Warfares and I hate all Call of Duties these days, but you have your Call of Duties and I don't know, whatever else brings people in. GTA 5, amazing game. Where was it on the Wii U? When you have these games on there, that will bring people in, and then you've got your Mario Karts, fantastic game. Your Bayonetta 1 and 2, awesome game. Donkey Kong Country, there's so many games in that machine. Nintendo would dominate the market if they just made a powerful machine. The Switch will not dominate the market. I mean, I've heard things like the Switch is great for gaming on the go. Depending on the game, the battery life goes down to 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. They tote it as a machine for traveling. You're on a plane, you can fly. How many flights are 2.5 hours? Okay, maybe within the Americas, a couple hours to get to places. But even some American flights, I know, can be 4 or 5 hours. Europe, most flights about 4 hours. So, okay, maybe the majority of it. But the point I'm making is it's not as portable as they say. You can go to a party and you can set it up and play games. Yeah, no, you can't. You got to plug it in and charge up all the time. It is still. It hasn't got a 10-hour battery life, which I didn't think was going to happen due to the power of the machine. Because even though it's underpowered, it's powerful enough for a tablet. But they could have tried harder. But they did what they can do, and that's fine. But it's still not the machine that I, as a consumer, wanted. It's still not the machine that I feel will bring Nintendo back to their former glory, which was running the roost. The Nintendo NES, granted it wasn't the most powerful, but due to their shady business deals, it still brought out some amazing machines and it ran the roost. The Super Nintendo, that was the one. And the Super Nintendo was the one because it came out after the Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive over here in the UK. It came out after and it was more powerful. Therefore, 90% of the games that came out on both sides were better, sounded better, looked better, played better on the Super Nintendo. The GameCube, extremely powerful. Unfortunately, the PS2 came out. The PS2 is actually a weaker machine, but the DVDs won out. If the GameCube had a DVD player, it would have won out. But yeah, I digress. The point I'm making here is Nintendo, you were at the top of your game when your machine was the most powerful, and that was the Super Nintendo. That was when you were at the top of your game. The Wii was not when you were at the top of your game. Just because you had huge sales in the Wii, that doesn't matter because no one plays it anymore. No one touches it. My Super Nintendo still gets played. Even my GameCube still gets played. My Wii, yeah, it's alright. You know, motion controls. Oh, and speaking of motion controls, why? Why, oh why? I really, really hope to God that the motion controls on those ridiculous Joy-Con pads are just an afterthought, and the majority of developers do not use them. Apart from your tennis game, your boxing game, I don't want to see those things used. I'm not interested in motion control. Pretty much no one's interested in motion control. I've got my PSVR, and on my VR, I have shooting games in motion. That's fine. That's an immersive game. I just want to sit on my couch, get fat, pick up one of my millions of control pads, and just play. Okay, Nintendo, you got it right. We made a pad like this. I'm very happy to see you've got another one like that coming out. But the bottom line is, you just need to stop messing around with the gimmicks. We don't care about the gimmicks. We don't want the gimmicks. We just want a powerful machine. And the Switch is not a powerful machine. There are a couple of things that look interesting on there. And I'm happy again that the developers are backing it. But I feel when it comes down to it, that when there is a big name game that comes out, and this big name game will only work on the new machines, Nintendo, you're going to lose out again. You're going to lose out again. People are going to put your machine down. They're not really going to buy anything for it because they have to buy the AAA title. £45 in the UK, $60 in the US. People, not everyone's got disposable income. Not everyone can spend their money on loads of machines and stuff. So, it will be a case of, do we buy the inferior Switch version if it comes out on all three machines? Or do we get the superior Xbox One, Scorpio, PS4 Pro version? It's going to come down to the big names. I am getting a Switch. I am getting a Switch. The reason I'm getting a Switch is I bought a Wii U late. And I regret it because I love the Wii U. I do love the Wii U. But it's still not what I want. I wanted the Wii U to be on par with its rivals. If the Wii U was powerful, or had the power on par with its rivals, it would be the best console ever. I love the screen on it. I love being able to take it, play on my TV, pull it off. And I understand that's what they're doing with the Switch. But you've now made your whole console that big. That's your whole console. Nintendo, you'll see some videos of people telling you Nintendo doesn't need a big 1080 graphic card in there. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They need a big ass SLI 1080 going in there. But if you made a crazy powerful Nintendo machine and you charge the earth for it, I'd buy it. I would buy it because I know that that machine is going to have all my favorite Nintendo. It's going to have the best version of Mario Kart. It's going to have the biggest, most crazy Mario, the biggest, most crazy Zelda, which is pretty much looks like it's got anyway. But it's also going to run my GTA 5, 6 when it comes out, my Red Dead 2, my Resident Evil 7. It's going to run those games as well. That is where you have just cocked up, Nintendo. You've got it wrong again. Let's talk about the machine itself. The controller, the Joy-Con, when it's in its dock, that is the ugliest brick I have ever seen. That thing is fucking disgusting. I looked at it and I was like, ugh. And it looks even worse when I saw someone holding it. So, I remember when the N64 came out, because I'm that old, people. And I remember when the control pad came out, and we were just salivating at how beautiful that control pad looked. And then you've got the Wii U Pro pad, great looking pad. I'm not going to get up and get it, but over there the GameCube pad wasn't the best pad for me look-wise, but feel-wise, fantastic. The Joy-Con looks garbage. When you pull them apart separately, and they look about this big each, that looks garbage. You're telling me, let me see something that's about the same size. Let's say it's about this big. You're telling me, I'm saying too big. You're telling me something maybe half size of this is going to be comfortable to play like so. No, not anymore. People now are used to a control pad like so. This is what people are comfortable with. A little rectangle Joy-Con, it's not going to cut it. I looked at that and I thought, this is trash. When I do get my machine, and I will, every game has been played with the Pro Pad. Not touching the Joy-Con. What else happened? The 1-2 switch. Oh, get the fuck out of here. They had a presentation, people holding their little Joy-Cons, and they're shooting at the screen. And the guy's there going, when you play the game conventionally, you look at the screen. And I'm going, yes, I want to look at the screen. I bought a games console to play games on my screen. And he's going, no, 1-2 switch. You now look at the opponent's eyes. And I'm thinking, fuck the opponent's eyes. I don't want to look at his eyes. I want to look at my screen while I blow his head off. On the latest Titanfall. On Gears of War. I know that's another colour, but you get the point. I'm not interested in that. It's gimmick after gimmick after gimmick with Nintendo. It's just, I feel frustrated. Watching the beginning of that presentation just frustrated me. You know what? I'm taking a hat off, right? Hats off. I feel frustrated watching that video. It could have gone so well. The end of it was a huge deal. But the beginning of it, it didn't capture me. I'm only buying it because I was wrong about the Wii U and I want to be wrong about the Switch. But right now I don't feel like I am. Right now I feel that they've made another mistake and they've gone for the gimmick and hoping the gimmick will bring people in. They're expecting you to play two-player games, mini two-player games granted, on a screen this big. Are you joking? I understand that it's nice to have that as a feature, but that's not a selling point for me. That's not a selling point for me. That for me is not making me think, oh my god, I need this machine because when I go to my mate's house and got one, we can sit and play little games. No, that is not a selling point. Nintendo, Breath of the Wild looks amazing. Mario Odyssey looks so damn good. Your console is garbage. And I've been watching YouTube. I only just don't make content, but I've been watching YouTube for years, and everyone has said the same thing for years. We don't want gimmicks. We don't want motion control. We just want a bastard powerful machine that has Zelda and Mario on it, and we'll be happy. Our Kirby's on it, our Smash Brothers. We want all these games on a machine running 12 teraflops. I know that those teraflops get thrown around, but you get what I'm saying. We don't. The Switch, to me, I want to be wrong, and it's priced quite fairly, so I'll give it a go. But I'm not optimistic. I'm not optimistic. I don't think it's going to be as good as people are hoping. I really don't. I think it's going to sit on the shelf. It's going to gather dust, and it's going to be right next to my Wii, up there in the corner. Watch your space. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'll get back to you guys soon. This is my first video on this situation. I don't know whether I threw my hat. But I'm going to get back to it. Anyway, peace and love, guys. I'm out. See ya. Oh, wait.